Hello everyone, I'm Lun, and welcome to my channel. This video is about the 7th smallest country on Earth, ranked 189 out of 195 countries worldwide. The Marshall Islands is a Pacific island nation, located in Micronesia, consisting of 1,156 islands spread across 34 coral atolls, with a total land area of 181 square kilometers. Its maritime territory covers over 2 million square kilometers. The region shares maritime borders with Wake Island to the north, Nauru to the south, the Federated States of Micronesia to the west, and Kiribati to the southeast. The most populous atoll is Majuro, which also serves as the capital of the Marshall Islands. 3,000 years ago, people from Southeast Asia made successive voyages to the small islands in the Western Pacific. Considering the navigation technology of that time, safely reaching these islands was a formidable challenge. They navigated between islands using floating nets woven from sticks, leading a secluded life far removed from the rest of the world. In 1529, Spanish explorers discovered these atolls, and subsequently, explorers from other European countries such as the Netherlands, Russia, France, and England also successively found these islands. In 1874, Spain's sovereignty over these islands received international recognition. Later, Spain's own political and economic challenges made it difficult to maintain effective control in the region. In 1875, Spain relinquished its rule over the Marshall Islands, agreeing to Germany becoming the protectorate of the Marshall Islands. During Germany's rule, basic infrastructure such as docks and roads was established on the islands, and cultural elements including administrative governance, language, and religion began to integrate into Marshallese society. In the First World War, Japan declared war against Germany in 1914, and in early September of the same year, the Japanese Navy began its attack on the Marshall Islands. Japan's military actions primarily involved a naval blockade and land attacks on various islands in the Marshall Islands. Due to the strength of the Japanese Navy and Germany's relatively weak military resources in the Pacific region, Japan rapidly occupied the Marshall Islands. After the war, following the terms of the Treaty of Versailles, Germany lost all colonial sovereignty, and in 1919, Japan officially took over the Marshall Islands. Under Japanese rule, a South Seas Mandate government was established on the islands. Modern agricultural techniques were introduced, and agriculture and fisheries were expanded. Trade with other regions was strengthened. There were series of reforms in infrastructure, administrative systems, and education. While these reforms and developments brought substantial progress and improvements to the Marshall Islands, practices that weakened local chieftain authority and altered local social structures, changing the local matrilineal society into Japan's patrilineal society, led to dissatisfaction among the local residents and sowed the seeds for future independence. During World War II, the Japanese Army took advantage of the already controlled Marshall Islands' strategic location in the Pacific to further expand outwards. In 1943, the United States initiated a counteroffensive in the Pacific Islands, reclaiming some of the Marshall Islands from Japanese control. After the war, the United Nations entrusted the United States with the trusteeship, making it one of the 2,000 islands under trusteeship in the Pacific. From 1946 to 1968, the U.S. conducted over 100 nuclear tests in the Pacific Islands, with 66 of them taking place in the Marshall Islands. In one miscalculation, hundreds of fishing vessels and over 20,000 residents in the vicinity suffered severe radiation poisoning. The island was also flattened, and there are rumors that the concept for the popular cartoon character SpongeBob SquarePants was inspired by this event. Additionally, due to multiple nuclear tests conducted on the Bikini Atoll in the Marshall Islands, a new type of swimsuit was introduced around the same period. Coincidentally, the swimsuit designer chose a name that could capture the attention of the world just like the nuclear tests. Thus, the bikini swimsuit was born. In 1979, a referendum for the Micronesian Constitution, planned by the United Nations and the United States to organize some islands in the Western Pacific into the Federated States of Micronesia, was held. However, the Marshall Islands rejected this proposal and opted to establish its own autonomous government in preparation for nationhood. To facilitate the self-governance or independence of the people in the trusteeship, in 1986, the Marshall Islands signed the Compact of Free Association with the United States. Under this agreement, the U.S. would provide defense, funding, and social services for the Marshall Islands. Military defense tasks for the Marshall Islands would be carried out by the United States, and Marshall Islands citizens could also enlist in the U.S. military. Additionally, Marshallese citizens could freely enter and reside, work, and study in the United States without the need for a visa, but offenders can be deported from the United States, providing significant assistance to the Marshall Islands. On October 24, 1986, the Marshall Islands declared its independence. In 1991, the United Nations terminated the U.S. trusteeship, and the Marshall Islands became a member state of the United Nations. The Marshall Islands, like many other island nations, relies on the export of coconut products, handicrafts, and fisheries as its primary economic activities. The country heavily depends on imports for food, machinery, equipment, and consumer goods. The natural environment of the Marshall Islands is breathtaking, earning it the nickname Black Pearl of the Pacific. Far from the hustle and bustle of urban life, the islands are free from industrial pollution, offering fresh air, crystal-clear blue waters, and pristine sandy beaches. Lush coconut groves abound, making you feel relaxed and happy, both physically and mentally comfortable. However, like many other island nations, the Marshall Islands faces serious challenges from rising sea levels, making it imperative for those interested in visiting to seize the opportunity. This video segment concludes here. If you enjoy the content shared on this channel, please like, subscribe, and share. Feel free to leave comments below to let me know what topics you'd like me to cover.